Welcome to the Woolly Closet. My name is Hven and I live in the Netherlands with my husband and 11-year-old daughter and 2 budgies. Today is the 3rd of April 2024 and I thought I'd record today because I can't do it tomorrow. I usually don't make a podcast on Wednesday, it's usually Thursday or Fridays, but my husband has been give the man a herniated disc, give the man a dislocated shoulder, and he bears it like a warrior, a true man. I can see he's in pain, but he doesn't complain. But now he has a head cold, and I haven't slept very well because he's moaning. And I think if I am not sleeping well this night, tomorrow I won't have the energy for anything. So I thought I'd record today to save myself some agony. Yeah, he's sweet, but when he has a head cold, I swear I could just smother him in a pillow. I know my mother and my mother-in-law are watching this too, but I'm sorry. I have the same head cold, but this is worse somehow. I don't know. Men flu and... Anyway, let me just start this episode. I am wearing my Camellia sweater by Veera Välimäki. I tell more about this in the 4th episode. It's my go-to sweater really when it's cold and dreary. It's so grey outside, I even had to take out the, what you call that, ring light. I usually don't record with a ring light, I don't like it. It hurts my eyes a little bit because, well, I'm not staring directly into it, but well, it's bright. But this sweater is always keeping me warm on grey and dreary days where it's too cold for a cooler sweater, but too warm to put on a nice fire. This one just keeps me warm and toasty all day. I have a few works in progress, one finished object. And last episode I asked if you had any questions for me, and 1, 2, 3, 4 people did ask me a question. So I am going to try and answer those. Yes, I will start with the finished object, which is currently drying on the drying mats. It's still a little bit damp. I'll try and see if it's dry in the afternoon, so my daughter will do a little spin and twirl clip thingy that I can add later on. I'll get it. Wait a minute. I'm back. I also forgot to put the cover over the budgies, so you might have heard them. I don't even register it anymore, but they should be nice and quiet now. So here's the Hven top by Bergman for Edna and Zwarte Vader garden. I knitted this on 4mm US 6 needles with Zwarte Vader Cecilia in color number 61. It's a lovely cotton, oh dear, and now I forgot, cotton viscose yarn I think. I still have one more end to snip off because my daughter still has to try it on. Yeah, it's a very plain and simple short summer t-shirt with a split hem. Here's my only modification. I did an I-cord bind off here so it would lay nice and flat and wouldn't start to curl or anything. But other than that, it's very straightforward and it's very nice to knit on. I never would have thought. There's also some twisted stitches here, twisted increases, but I misread the pattern and I just used a normal regular make one left, make one right, but still looks nice. I see this in striped versions too. It's really a fun pattern, basic recipe you can use to knit a lovely t-shirt. Really like it. Really like the yarn too. It's nice and soft, breathable. I think my daughter will actually really like it. But I haven't sewn in the end yet because I want to see how the neckline lays on her, sits on her. If it's standing up or something, I might have to tweak it a bit, but we will see. It's just a bit damp still here, but not that much. It's almost dry, so I should be okay with doing a little twisty turny bit later on with her if she comes home from school. That's my only finished object this time. Yes, it's been a very busy month with birthday and Easter and lots of stuff. Yes, my works in progress. I have my never-ending Tepliy sweater by Olga Putanova. I am knitting on the second sleeve. I have started it, as you can see, but it's just such a slow project. It's taking forever. I think it's the yarn choice. I think if you use more rounder cottony yarn, it would go faster, because this is a tuck stitch, what she calls it. It's sort of a brioche, so you have to knit the rows twice. So I think I've knitted 2 sweaters instead of 1, and then I've also made it a little longer than called for in the pattern. So, and I will be very happy when it's done, but when it's done I will probably love it. Yes, so half sleeve, quarter sleeve, yes, quarter sleeve, but there are decreases, so it should go faster when I'm nearing the end. So I knit this in Nutiden and Drops Kid Silk Mohair by Drops Kid Silk Mohair. Yeah. So, and I talk more about this one in the previous episode. So if you like to know more about that one, just go back 1 episode and I'll tell you all about it. And then Easter came along, and I had finished my daughter's top, and I was still knitting on that sleeve, and I've been thinking about lengthening my cropped sweaters, some of them. I don't wear dresses that much at the moment, and those 2 sweaters I have in mind are perfect for over jeans, so I wanted to lengthen them. So I pulled out my favorite. It's the Koivua sweater by Boyland Knitworks. And I decided I wanted to add some length, maybe a split hem or do just larger ribbing. And I managed to undo the ribbing. Sorry, first. Right. So this is my Koivua. I managed to take out the ribbing, put 1/2 on those barber cord things, and put the other half on a knitting needle. Decided to add some ribbing, but I'm not liking how it looks, so I'm going to rib back until the colorwork bit and probably just do as the pattern states, which is to add some more texture like this underneath the colorwork, and then do the ribbing, and then do the bind off. So that's what I probably do. So a little sad because this ribbing is 1 by 1 rib. It's a lot of work, but this is not what I want. No, I don't think it looks good. It looks a little weird. So I just need to add some length to this before doing the ribbing again. I bought 4 balls of Drops Air. This is knitted with a 3.5mm US 4, 4mm US 6 needle, and I'm using Drops Air in Pearl Grey and Knit Crate Vida Lana Ambient Worsted. And I love this sweater, and I hardly wear it now. So I love these sleeves. I didn't do the texture bit here. I just did regular stockinette, but I love this bind off, and it's balloon shaped bits. It's a beautiful sweater, but it needs some work. So it's in timeout for now. I wanted to do something fun, and I wanted to cast on something new. So Easter came along, and I know everybody has been knitting the emotional support chicken, which I think is a lovely pattern. But I wouldn't be me if I didn't mix things up and just go my own way. I have had this hen pattern by Claire Garland, who is Pebble Knits. Oh, Claire Garland anyway. In my library on Ravelry for ages. So I decided I wanted that lovely hen. Let's see if I can show you the picture of the one that I'm making. It's quite extensive. Wait, the Pebbles Knits is in it. Yeah, let's fold it like this. I am trying to make this one right here, which is a little more difficult because you have to use bulky weight yarn and a 7mm needle. I don't even know what US name it has. It hasn't come up, but I really love this one. I think it's a beautiful chicken, and my thoughts were it would go nicely here on this audio speaker. If you have ever been wondering what that black thing was, it's a speaker. And I've already named her Henrietta, so that will be Henrietta's home if I finish her. It's a very extensive pattern, very clearly written, with a few modifications at the end. You can choose to use those, so which I did. Right now it looks really weird. Of course, I'm also in the middle of a thing. So you start with this neck and head piece here, flat, it's knitted flat. And then I switched to the bulky yarn. The pattern called for something else, which I didn't have. So I used Drops Nepal held double with brushed alpaca silk held together on the 7mm needle. I ran out of the mustard. It's a really nice stash buster. It eats up yarn. And added in some grey and white. This is the butt, the rear end of the chicken. And then you sew those ends together. I'll show you a bit more clearly. I am right now doing her little head. Here's her first wall and her little beak, which is already done. And now I'm knitting the left waddle. I hope you can see this. I'm not paying any attention to the camera or the phone. That's a bit silly. Well, I really like how the beak came out. So the back and the back feathers are done. And this part is actually the underside of the chicken, which will fold up like this. I think it's very hard to show you. And this will be sewn, is the breast of the chicken, like this. Oh, I don't know how to show you this. And all these markers, there's where things will be added on, I think. Extra feathers, and as you can see, I still need these back feathers here, and I need this part, and I need to do the comb and the eyes. So I'd say it's 70% done now, which is quite fast. I knitted it in 2 days. So if you really want a chicken, you can knit one in a day or 4, I think, if you have the time. Yes, it looks really weird, but it's a lot of fun and a little bit of a puzzle, which I like. Yes. Have you ever knitted a toy before? I like knitting toys. I'm knitting my niece 2 deers. If you've seen It's a Sarah podcast, she knitted a blue rabbit for her little niece. I have knitted the patterns from Little Cottontails, Little Cotton Rabbit before. I knit 2 mice and now 2 deer with the wardrobe and everything. It's so much fun. And this is a bit like that. It's all these little parts and then they come together and they make this lovely little creature. Yes, lots of fun. So this is something I do need to concentrate on. So this I do when everybody's at work or at school, and when they come home, well, right now doing nothing because I'm so tired. But otherwise I knit on the sleeve or I knit on the Koivua sweater. But that is it really. For this one I use drops Nepal, drops Flora, drops Fable, brushed up like a silk, and some Yabo Fin Mohair silk I got from Edna for free to try out sometime. So it's a lot of yarn. It's all in this bag here, and I pick out whatever I like, whatever I need it, and I'll see where the wind takes me. Right, so I think I talked about everything knitting right now. So now it's time for the questions from episode 11. I had a few. I wrote them all down here. They're no particular order, but if I start with this one, it'll make more sense for me. How did I learn to knit? Well, I was a crocheter first. I had my daughter in 2013 and we went on a holiday with my parents to England. And I was talking to my mother that I needed something I could easily pick up and put down whenever baby cried or woke up. And she was crocheting at the moment a blanket. And she said, well, I could teach you how to crochet. And I said, well, that's nice, I'd like to learn. So she taught me the very basics of that. And of course I took it a step further and I learned myself to crochet using YouTube mainly. I did have a few books, but they just don't make sense to me. I think I'm a visual learner. I need to see how you do a stitch. Now I can understand how it went, a chart and written things, but at the beginning I needed to see how it was done and feel it. So I was a crocheter mainly first, blankets mostly, and at the very beginning I crocheted these little squids. They were for a what you call that? Charity, a charity. You crochet these little squids and they use them after a serious inspection and approval committee for incubator babies in hospitals. There are guidelines for that. You cannot just knit a squid and say this is safe to use for an incubator baby. No, it has to go through rigorous testing and such. I think I still have a picture. I'll post a picture here of some of those squids I've made. That was my first real crocheting thing, I guess. Yeah, that was one of the first things that kicked things off. I really like doing that, but it was a little hard on my hands because it's cotton. And so I started to crochet blankets after that. I have, do I have a little squid left? If it's still in the thing. I remembered I had one on the stair. I always kept one on the diaper bag from when my daughter was a baby. One of the ones I really liked. I started improvising and I made lots of fun ones. They're all gone now. I've all given them away. When my nephew was born, he had to be in an incubator for a while, so I gave him 2. I gave my new niece 1. Well, yes, I've knitted loads, and I only have this one left. This is, I don't even remember what I call them, a paddy, something with St. Patrick's Day. You'll see. I knitted him a little belt with a buckle. It's a little bit dirty. It's old now. I think it's 11 years old now. Yes. So this is one of those squids. It used to be on a keychain and then on the diaper bag. And I always kept it, and I always will. It's just a fun reminder of the time that I did that. I think they're still active too. Maybe if I can find the website or the charity, I'll link it down below. And you can see if they are active in your country or not, because it's in multiple countries. Paddy Mc. I can't remember. If I search through my Instagram photos, I'll probably find the names. Anyway, that was attention. Okay, so I was talking about how I learned to knit. So this was my crochet stuff. But then, well, my baby got older, of course, and I wanted more than just knitting squids and blankets. I wanted to try and knit things. I saw this beautiful sweater, Wintersol by Knit Love Wool, and I bought that pattern, and I didn't even know how to knit. I just thought, if I just buy it, maybe one day I will be able to make it. And I asked my aunt if she could teach me how to knit. We were on a family getaway weekend, and she brought her knitting needles, which were those long straight ones, and I just couldn't do it. She was an English style knitter, or is well, not anymore. She has Parkinson's. She can't knit anymore, I think. But where was I? She's an English style knitter, and I, as a crocheter, I just couldn't. I was all fingers and needles, and my shoulders were hurting because I was sitting like this with those needles under my. It was horrible. So I just couldn't do it. And then I tried several times, couldn't do it. And then I was on a crochet night, knit night / handicraft evening at someone's place, and there was this woman named Blaženka she emigrated here. She was from Serbia, and she said, well, you may not be able to knit English style, but have you tried continental style? And I said, what's that? And she said, well, then you hold the yarn just like crochet in your left hand. And it clicked, and that same night I was knitting away a little tiny shawl for a doll for my daughter, and it was wonderful, and I was off like a storm. I knitted everything I wanted and want now. You give me something and I will knit it. I think I can do anything. Some might be more difficult than others, but I think you can knit anything you want if you just put your mind to it and set your soul. Just do it. Yes, so I knitted my daughter's red little boxy sweater. That was the first sweater I ever knitted, and then I was just hooked. I've been knitting sweaters ever since. Well, that is also my favorite thing to knit, because someone asked, what is your favorite thing to knit or crochet? Crochet, I would say blankets. I really do love the look of amigurumi like this one, but it's just so hard on my hands. As I've aged and my MS progressed, it just got harder to knit or crochet with cotton. Crocheting with cotton is harder than knitting with cotton, I think. I could still make that t-shirt thing work, but yes, crocheting with cotton is hard, especially amigurumi. Blankets and such, crocheting with cotton, that's not really a problem, as long as it's not too tight. And my favorite thing to knit, that would be sweaters. Yes, sweaters and color work. I really enjoyed knitting this Hunzenstrik bag by Hanne Rimme. This is all leftover acrylics. I really love knitting this, and I'm planning to knit more, but there's so much to do and so little time. Anyway, do you ever feel pressure if you have multiple test knits on the go? Well, that's the thing. I don't do multiple test knits. I always take one, and I always look what's the deadline. If it's less than 4 weeks, I don't do it. If it's 6 weeks, I might give it a try, depending on what the requirements are. The Tepliy sweater was 6 weeks, but I only had to knit the body and half a sleeve. But I didn't take into account that a tuck stitch would take so much time. So with this one, it's the first test knit I really struggled with the time and the deadline. I was just in time. That's probably why it hasn't been finished yet, because it took so much out of me. I'm just done with it. So yes, I don't feel pressure if the deadline isn't too close. I only take on one. Yes, well, that's about it. And then a really fun question. What was your very first job, and what did I do before ending my career for medical reasons? Because you might not know if this is one of your first videos. I have multiple sclerosis. I have had multiple sclerosis since I was maybe 21, and I am turning 43 this year in July. So I've been living with this for quite some time. My first job, well, I've done so much. I don't even remember. My very first job was in a music store, actually, selling CDs and such. But this music store was run by an elderly woman, and she also had a man that gave guitar lessons in the back of the store, and I had guitar lessons there, which I sucked at. But she was kind to me, and she asked me if I could help her out on a Saturday. So that's what I did for a few months. That was my very first job. And then I was a postal worker for a little while, delivering letters through letterboxes and such. I've worked in a factory making connectors to cables with, that was in the early days of internet, with fiber optics. I don't even know how to explain it anymore. Anyway, something with cables and connectors and fiberglass in a factory, which was a really nice job actually. I went to another city to study on the, what do you call that in English? Art school. I only did the first year, didn't finish it because I didn't like it. I hated it. But the fun fact was, we were living in a student housing, and that's where I met my husband. He was living on the same floor as me, and we liked each other, and we started talking, and well, I dropped out of art school. He stopped his job because his body just couldn't take it. He was a tree surgeon. Then we both started working at the greenhouses there. Een kas. Wat is een kas? Greenhouse. Maybe I'll use Google Translate and put it right here. And then I found out you could do a 21+ test for applying to the PABO, which is the school to become a teacher, primary school teacher in the Netherlands. And he passed, and I already had the requirements to do that, so we both went to become teachers. So I've been a primary school teacher before my MS really started to act up. And I couldn't see out of my right eye, and it hurts so bad. So I went to my doctor and he sent me away, saying it was all in my head. And I knew the next week he would be on a holiday and there would be a substitute. So I went back there the next week, and the substitute said, "Oh, I think I know what you have. Here's a phone number, you're going to call this number and you're going to see a neurologist at the hospital and he will take it from there." And within the week I knew what it was. Of course, I had already Googled some stuff, and there was a list there with some points with effects from MS, and I could just tick them all off. So I think I already knew what I had before it was officially diagnosed. So, of course, you can still work if you have MS, no problem, if you're lucky. I was not that lucky. I can still walk far, but there was a time. I have a wheelchair upstairs in my well, it's not really an attic. It is just a bedroom really, and I use it if my legs are acting up. I have been in a wheelchair for about a year. I did some, these are all very difficult words. Revalidatie. What do you call that? I went to the hospital 3 times a week and we did exercises there, and they learned me to do things in a different way. So I was able to get my functions back, not 100% of course, but well enough to do the things I wanted to do. But my contract, but my contract was done, and at that time there were too many teachers, not like now where there are too little. So they ended my contract. They didn't want me to be their liability problem. So I was home after that. I did do some volunteer work after that, which was lovely. I helped at a sort of social workplace where people with drug addiction, alcohol addiction, mental health issues would have something to do during the day. That business is still operating, and I have some contact with them from time to time. I helped set up some administrative programs and forms and such. Yes, that was a wonderful time. It made me feel validated and seen again, and not just a problem for society. And after that, I became pregnant, of course. And I knew I couldn't do both. I couldn't do the volunteer work and have a baby. I thought maybe when she goes to school, I could go back there, but I have enough. My house and my out of hand hobby, and my daughter has also some issues. She has ADD. I have enough to do. I'm fine as it is. I really like, well, if you do want to put me in a cubby and call me something, you might call me now a knit crochet influencer. I hate the term, but well, I am a podcaster, so that's what I do now. So yeah, I think that's about it. That was all the questions you asked me. If you have any more, please fill them in down below and I'll try and answer them for next time. I really liked getting questions. I hope I didn't overshare too much. Maybe, like I said, who watches till the very end. Many of you do, apparently. I have just 2 more things. I have one acquisition and one little gift. I mean, I complain about my husband, but he's also a sweetheart. But first, the acquisition. I bought some merino rugby by Yerbo with my discount code. There is a discount code on the Edna website. It's a 25% off your offer until April 8th, still valid, so hurry. It's for people living in the Netherlands and Belgium. The code is The Woolly Closet. Enter it at the checkout and you will get 25% off your total order. And I ordered this merino rugby by Yerbo. I'll take this off, you can see better. I have ordered 7 skeins of these. This will be for a future test knit. I will not say much more about that. You'll see it when it's ready and time to get started. I'm hoping to get gauge with this. And it will be held double with drops kid silk mohair or brushed alpaca silk. I'm not sure yet, depending on gauge, because drops is alpaca is thicker than the kid silk. And my husband ordered something funny for me. He never buys me gifts, really. He never buys me flowers. I know this. I am very happy with my husband. He cooks for me. I hate cooking. He loves it. It's ideal. And he cooks wonderfully. Excuse me. This might be a little controversial. I love anything Top Gear, Grand Tour, Jeremy Clarkson. I know he's a controversial figure, but that man makes me laugh so hard I pee myself. So we watch Clarkson's Farm. We love that show. And he ordered me this cup from the Diddley Squat Farm, which is Jeremy Clarkson's farm. It's an enamel cup. And he said, it's something I ordered for you. It came with little sweets that were horrendous, but my husband loved them. And it came with a card. This one. So yeah. And I thought it was just so funny. I think it's a cute little cup. It's enamel. I think I will use it for knitting tools, props, things and such. Not really for drinking. But I thought it was really sweet. I just wanted to share it. Because it's such a special thing for me. He rarely goes out of his way and buys this silly... He knows I like silly little things, and he saw this and thought of me, so that was funny. Okay, that's about it. I think I'm done. I wonder how long this will be. I will probably call it the chatty one. If you've watched as far as you did, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. It helps a lot with the visibility of this little podcast. If you can, leave a comment. I always love reading those and I always try to answer. And I will see you next time. Bye bye. Take care.